Jeff Newcomer. I'm the Athletic and Activities Director here at the high school. I want to welcome you to the Fall 22 Athletic Meeting and Fall Sports Meeting. So we probably have everybody in the room who's going to go out for a fall sport or interested in participating in activity here at Monroe High School, okay? We're going to break this into a few different sections. First section will be for everybody talking about the handbook that's going to participate in a sport or activity. And then we'll have a break where if you're not playing a fall sport, you can leave. And then fall sport athletes and parents can stick around for a few more slides. And then we'll break off into coaches' meetings for the fall seasons, okay? If there's any more paperwork that you want to complete, you can do all your paperwork online, or the ladies will stick around after the meeting for a little bit longer if you want to fill it out and turn it in later, okay? So we'll get rolling. My goal is 21 minutes. My part will be 21 minutes, okay? All right, purpose of the meeting is to go over expectations, okay? As a high school student and you're participating in our activities or athletics, we have expectations of you. You're representing the school, you're representing the community, you're representing your family. Okay, complete the requirements. Hopefully you've already done some of these either earlier today or online prior to today. The requirements have to be done before you practice for the first time, okay? And then meet with the fall sport coaches at the end. So where you can find information, so this meeting is being recorded and this will be uploaded to the school website under the Athletics and Activities tab. But also if you're interested in athletic schedules, there are some options here. The conference website, the Badger Conference website, not so much the Rock Valley Conference website yet. I know for football we're in the Rock Valley, but I transfer all that over to the Badger Conference one, so you'll see that there. There is a Our School phone app that is directly linked to the system that we use for scheduling. So if there's a postponement, cancellation, time change, that will automatically happen and go straight to you if you use the Our School's phone app. And then you can, of course, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and I'm sure we're on Instagram as well. So activities, what's included? Everything that your student does outside of the classroom is considered an activity. And we have those activities broken down into 3 different categories, as you can see. A, B, and C, competes, performs, and service organizations. And these are important when you go through the handbook and you can see where your activity falls in case there's an issue. So why do you need to get involved? I could list off a whole bunch of reasons why, but this right here is the big one, okay? This is our data. This is our students' data on why you need to get involved, okay? As you can see, the top line, this is a couple years old, but the top line, 33% of our students decided not to do any activity or any sport, okay? And you can kind of see where we're at with the GPA, 2.625, okay? As you go down in any activity, in athletics, 1, 2, 3 sports, GPA kind of goes up, all right? It's hard to argue with that. Expectations to be in activities and athletics is that you're in class, you're on time, you're doing your homework, all right? All that correlates, obviously, to better grades and better prepared for life after high school. So code of conduct, what is a code of conduct? So simply a code of conduct are the expectations that are set forth for your son or daughter. And not only for students, but also for parents, right? Our parents also have to follow some rules to make sure that we're representing our school and our community in a proper fashion. So know that the code of conduct does cover all year round, 365 days. As soon as you sign that code of conduct, you're covered until the following year, okay? That's breaks, that's weekends, that's summer vacation. And we're looking at your grades, how you treat each other in the hallway, if you're breaking the law, attendance in classes, all that stuff comes into effect. Parents, we're just asking you to be positive, be encouraging for your students. High school can be a very challenging time, okay? Peer pressure, it's real. It's gonna happen. They're gonna be put into situations. They have to make decisions. Are they always gonna make the right decision? We like to think they would, but they won't, and that's fine, right? We live and we learn, but as long as we give them the proper guidance and are there for them, we'll come out on top, okay? Do not offer excuses, okay? Encourage them to work hard and keep doing their best, and cheer for the team, okay? We're all here together. We're all cheesemakers. We all want to succeed and all do our best. In sportsmanship, we as in Monroe don't normally have a problem with this. I've seen some events and heard about some events across the state and across the nation where this just gets out of control. We are pretty good at it, okay? Please, let's keep it that way. Cheer hard for our cheesemakers, but we need to be respectful of our opponents and those people officiating our games, okay? Because that shortage is real, okay? It is a hard job and a huge challenge to get officials for all our events, okay? And then communication, okay? Be open to your coaches. Be open to me if it comes to that point. If you have something that comes up, you have a challenge, you have an appointment, you have a vacation, be open. Give your coaches plenty of time to respond, because your coaches might be expecting you, or your advisors might be expecting you for an event or a meeting or what have you. Give them heads up on what's going on. So the parent-coach advisor communication, like I said, it's just important to understand that there may be times when things just don't go the way your child wishes, and that's life. This is the opportunity for your child to talk with your respective advisor or coach and discuss the situation. When your child handles the problem, it becomes part of the learning and maturation process, okay? So again, if there's an issue on the team or issue in your club or group, please encourage your son or daughter to take it upon themselves and have that adult conversation with their coach advisor, okay? I do recognize there may be situations that require a conversation between advisor, a coach, and a parent, and that's fine. Those are encouraged. It's important that both parties have a clear understanding of either's position, all right? But please follow the below procedures to promote a resolution, all right? Don't let problems linger. Handle them accordingly and immediately. And if the problem's not resolved between your child and an advisor or coach, you can call me and we can arrange a meeting for all of us to sit down and have an open discussion, okay? Don't approach a coach or an advisor right after an event, right before practice. That's asking for trouble, okay? Emotions are high usually after a game or an event. The mind is just not where it needs to be. All right, so moving on to some of the standards. So academic performance standards. So we do grade checks starting the third week of every trimester, okay? So we will pull a report, everyone in this room, no matter what sport you're in or what club you're in, we pull a report every week starting with the third week, okay? We're looking for Fs, we're looking for NEs, which is no evidence, and Is or incompletes, okay? So I'll start with an email. If your son or daughter comes up on this report, you'll get an email from me. Don't worry too much about it. It's pretty much just saying like, hey, something might be going on. Maybe just talk to your son or daughter, see if they're struggling, help them. More times than not, they might have turned in their homework a little late, and the teacher didn't have a chance yet to put it in the grade book, okay? You have to remember that teachers have a full caseload, and late homework is not a priority to them. They have to stay on top of their curriculum and stay on pace for how the school year goes, okay? But it does happen, okay? But again, stay on Skyward, check on your kids' grades, and it'll be fine. If they stay on the report for 2 more weeks after that initial one, then it'll move to a suspension, okay? They can still practice, they just can't compete. At that point, we're like, all right, you've been on here for 3 weeks. It's time to start figuring out and get caught up in class, okay? Because these are student athletes first. We care about their academics. And it's by class, okay? So if that math class is just tricky, you need to focus on that math class. If you're on for math class for 1 week and then you're on for science class the next week, the process does start over, okay? Trimester grades. So coming into this first trimester, if you are a sophomore, junior, or senior, your grades from last year's third try do roll over and they do count for this year's eligibility, okay? If you had 2 or more Fs last year, third try, you need to come find me right away, okay? Because your academic eligibility is affected, okay? But moving forward, so this first try this year, okay? If you finish the first try with with more than one F, then winter sports are going to be off the table, okay? If you have one failing grade after the first try, there will be a 15-day calendar suspension. And this is WIA stuff, okay? This is not Monroe High School stuff. This is WIA stuff. These are rules we have to follow. Every school has to follow them. But then we have these academic standards for weighted courses, okay? We have some challenging courses here at the high school, and we don't want our student athletes to shy away from them, or our students that are in our activities to shy away from taking challenging courses, okay? If you take a challenging courses that's on one of these classes that's on this list, we do have the weighted course waiver, where it just buys you an additional 2 weeks on the probation period, okay? So please consider taking these more challenging courses. Don't shy away from them. So now we'll just move into the policies. I'm ahead of schedule. I'm very proud of myself. Okay. Students should be aware that if they're part of a group that is engaged in activities, outside activities, meaning on the weekends or evenings, okay, even in the hallways, but not necessarily just in the school, okay, contrary to school rules, they may be considered in violation of the handbook, okay? So if you and your buddies are out on the weekend and, you know, something comes up, someone has an idea that you maybe are like, I don't know, probably a bad idea, okay? So just know. So a student with a suspension penalty must begin and end their respective season for the suspension to be completed. I know none of you are going to have a suspension, so maybe we don't even talk about this, okay? Maybe we should, just in case. So, someone gets in trouble during football. Let's just say football. Pick on football, okay? And they come up with a 2-game suspension for whatever reason. And they sit the first game, and then they decide to quit. They never completed their suspension. That suspension now starts over for the next sport that they decide to go out for, okay? You have to complete that sport and complete your suspension to get rid of it. Penalties will carry over in the second sport. It's kind of like what I said. And then it will be cumulative over the student's high school career. So the first one, let's say the first suspension is 20%. If you get another one, it's now 30% or 40%. But after 2 years, then it will reset. So hopefully we don't have anybody here that will challenge that. So now we have a few different policies we talk about. Obviously, policy 1 are alcohol, tobacco, illegal drugs, chemicals, controlled substances, look-alike drugs, drug-related paraphernalia, possession rules. Okay, everything bad, no good. Monroe is a drug-free school. Okay. Policy number 2, personal conduct. This is probably the biggest one we deal with. Okay, so personal conduct in and out of school shall be such as to bring no discredit to the student, his or her family, school, team, organization, or community, and shall be in compliance with the rules and laws of the team, school, and community. So I highlighted the ones that have been some of the heavy hitters for us. So obviously being present when alcohol is being illegally used. So your parties. Plagiarism and cheating. Technology is great. It's easy to find answers, but technology is also great to be able to track what you're doing, okay? So think about it. And then inappropriate use of social media. Oh, we all love social media, okay? No, we don't. Gets you in trouble, okay? Be very, very careful with social media. And then actions unbecoming of a cheesemaker. That one we can use for almost anything, okay? All right, like I said before, you represent a school, you represent your family, you represent the community. You put that jersey on or that polo on, that T-shirt on that says Monroe, and you get on a school bus and you travel and represent us, you're held to a higher standard, okay? So policy 3, participation rules, school day attendance, okay? Regular school day attendance is one of the most important habits each student must develop, right? You got to be in school to get good grades. You got to get good grades to continue in your activity. So students must be in attendance the entire day to participate in a practice and or contest scheduled for that day. Students must not be more than 15 minutes late for any class, and parental excuses are not an excuse that allows a student to continue to participate, okay? Just because you have a study hall or you're not doing anything in class and you text your parents and say, hey, call me out, that doesn't fly, okay? It does not fly. You have to be in school. It doesn't matter if you have study hall or not. So 5 tardies is one unexcused absence. A tardy is less than 15 minutes late for class. So if you're just racking up those tardies, those will add up to an unexcused absence. With that being said, we do understand that things do happen. So every trimester, each student does get 1 free pass. I just warn you not to just use those right away, because things do happen, whether you hit a deer on the way to school, or your car doesn't start, or you name it. If you don't have it, then you can't use it, and you won't be able to use it, especially if you got a playoff game, right? Or a big forensic meet. You need to be in school. Transportation. So travel to and from contests or events will be done on school transportation. The school district does a really good job securing safe transportation for all our students and for all our events. So, but there are times where either a student has to meet the team up there, or maybe leave early and, when I have dinner, or when I go to Grandma and Grandpa's house afterwards, or what have you. We've made this process pretty simple. If you go to the high school activities athletics website, you'll see right down here the travel permission online form. You click on that, it just takes you straight to a Google form. You can fill it out with your name, the date, and that you're either going to leave early or come late. And that goes straight to the coaches, and coaches then know and have record of what to expect if you're leaving early or what have you. You still should check out or check in with your coach on those event days, just as a reminder. But please do this ahead of time so we're all on the same page. We would hate to leave you somewhere, okay? So reporting and enforcement of policies. So I am not law enforcement. I am not special, undercover cop who has a degree in law enforcement, okay? Any information or evidence that's considered, okay, to be relevant, valid, or accurate by anyone reviewing a particular alleged violation shall be considered, okay? So if any information comes across my desk, we'll look into it, okay? A parental report as well as a student report shall be considered. Anonymous reports will not be accepted, okay? I've received anonymous@gmail.com. We will not look at that, okay? If something's serious, come forward, let us know what's going on, what you're hearing, okay? The district expects that violations be reported within 14 days in order to allow a prompt response. Violations reported after 14 days may still serve as a basis for discipline, provided the report is made by school personnel or law enforcement, okay? Students, you are encouraged to report yourselves as violators of the code. Acts of self-reporting may be taken into consideration for reduction in discipline. I think all of us know when we make a mistake, okay? And we all probably hope that no one catches us or finds out. And I think we just talked about social media. Someone's always going to find out, okay? So you might as well come forward and get it over with. So I find out after the fact, it just looks bad, okay? Parents, if you believe something's happening, call the police, right? If you hear about a party, call the police. If you hear about something going on, call the police. We want your kids to be safe, okay? We want them to be safe. We focus on their development and well-being more than the wins and losses, okay? So then we have random suspicionless drug testing. So this is still somewhat new, maybe our 3rd or 4th year. I forget what COVID screwed everything up for us, but anywho. So drug abuse is a serious growing problem in the United States. Monroe is not immune. Now notice I said Monroe is not immune, not Monroe High School, okay? This is a problem everywhere, and I feel that we have done a really good job, and I support the Board of Education in supporting this initiative as well, is actually trying to do something about it rather than just letting it happen. So we believe that we're creating an environment that is safe, free from illegal substance abuse, and is conducive to learning. The goal is to deter drug use as well as to aid in the discovery and prevention of possible drug-related problems. So a few of the common questions that we get about it, is if a student tests positive for drugs, will it affect his or her academic standing? Absolutely not. This goes nowhere outside of my office, okay? It doesn't get reported to law enforcement. It doesn't go to the county. It doesn't go on any official grade report or high school transcript, okay? This is simply for us to make sure that you are safe and getting the help that you need, okay? How often will testing occur? It's all random. 100% random, sometimes twice a month, sometimes once a month, sometimes 0 times a month. It's just all random. How will students be selected for drug testing? As soon as you sign up for an activity or a sport, you're automatically on the list, okay? And that's a lot of people, okay? So when we decide that we're going to have a test date, we randomly say, oh, we'll do 20, okay? And then I contact our provider and tell them that we're going to do 20. I tell them we have 500 people on our list. They show up on the test date with 20 random numbers that they came up with. We call the downtown office. Downtown office holds the master list. And we say, all right, number 12, number 7, all 20 numbers, and they give us the names. And that's how random it is. But with that being said, with it being random, your child might get selected more than once a year. We've definitely had that happen, okay? Just call it the luck of the draw. So, it's a good program, completely random. It's been successful so far. All right, so to participate, everyone must have all the stuff completed before you can practice, join, rehearse, attend a meeting, okay? So category A are your athletics. Category B and C are your groups and clubs. A few differences, right? So attend the meeting. So kudos for you coming here tonight. Sign the code of conduct and all the consent forms, your concussion consent, all that stuff. Either have your physical or alternate year card, concussion agreement, activity fee. Category B and C, a little bit shorter list. Okay, but once again, all that stuff needs to be completed before we can begin our activity. Boom. Where we at? Not bad. All right, so this is the break that I was talking about. So if you are not in a fall sport, you can leave and complete your paperwork in the hallway, or we will see you first day of school. All right, so we'll take about a 3-minute break. Once again, if you're not in a fall sport, you can enjoy the rest of your night. Are we back? We'll get rolling with the fall sports section of the meeting. So as you can see, the start dates are coming up quickly. We have football starting tomorrow, with swimming and tennis starting in a week, soccer and volleyball and cross country in 2 weeks. So it is here. And I know everyone's done a really good job working hard this summer preparing for the fall. All right, just a quick update, athletic ticket prices. This came out new last year, but just as a reminder, we're now at $5, and then school district students is free. Okay, so that free part for all students of Monroe School District is new. It's something that we worked on and fought for, and again, the board agreed that it was a good idea. So here we are, and obviously the goal with that was to get as many fans in the seats supporting our students as possible, so thank you for that. Badger Conference realignment. So last year was our first year of the Badger Conference realignment. We are now East and West. In some sports, we're East and West divisions with a North-South component to that. I know some people found that a little complicated and confusing, but guess what? It's going away. So next year, realignment is happening again. We put in last year, worked really hard on gathering a bunch of information, made the proposal to the WIA, and we are being moved to the Rock Valley Conference, which I think is going to be just amazing for our teams. So it provides our student athletes the opportunity to compete against the more like schools and communities where competitive equity should be vastly improved, providing Cheesemaker student athletes a better experience. So, but the only bad thing with this is, so we're taking over for McFarland. McFarland's replacing us in the Badger Conference, and then Dellum and Darion's coming in. The Rock Valley operates a little bit differently than the Badger Conference, and I had no say in this. They just came out and said, yeah, well, we're going to go big-small. And even though they're not completely big-small, it doesn't make any sense. But anywho, we're in the big with Delavan, Jefferson, Whitewater, and East Troy. That's 5 teams. That is going to be very interesting for certain sports, okay? So there will be some sports where we'll be all together. It'll be 11 teams, but there will also be this, like basketball, for instance. We're going to have a 5-team conference for basketball. That will have some challenges, but we'll make it through it. We will come out on top with that one. It'll be fine. So this starts next year, okay? So we got one more year in the Badger Conference, and then next year we'll be in the Rock Valley. So again, I want to stress the parent-coach communication and what you should expect from your student-athletes coaches today at the meeting. So you'll see some team guidelines regarding practices, attendance, cut policy if applicable. Unfortunately, some teams may have to cut. We just don't have the space, the facilities, manpower to support some of our rosters that are to the limit. Practice schedules with locations and times. Notice that schedules that you are given today most certainly will change in one way or the other, whether it's weather related or just simple schedule changes because of contests being moved. But do expect some changes. Please be flexible. They will also let you know what the best practice for communication is. A lot of our coaches use the Remind app where they can blast out some information and kind of keep it not necessarily anonymous, but without giving out personal cell phone numbers like that. So emergency contact cards needs to be filled out and on file in case something happens. Each sports transportation guidelines, team requirements, whatever special equipment may be needed. What coaches should expect from parents. Again, we talked about this earlier. Ample notification of any schedule conflicts well in advance, in case you may have a vacation yet planned or there's a doctor's appointment. Obviously, coaches will be flexible. They understand that things come up. But if there's any way to avoid schedule conflicts, I know it would be greatly appreciated. And then any concerns expressed directly to the coach, if appropriate, specific concerns in regard to coach's philosophy and or expectations. So appropriate concerns to discuss with the coaches. Obviously, the treatment of your child mentally and physically is important. Ways that the coach can help your child improve, and concerns about your child's behavior. Now here we have a whole list of things that are not appropriate, okay? You are signing your kid up to play a sport. We've entrusted an individual to coach that sport who knows what they're doing, okay? They've had to take a lot of background, a lot of classes, a lot of exams to be certified to coach, okay? We need to trust what they're doing. So playing time, program level placement, team strategy, play calling, any other student on the team are not grounds to have discussion with your coach, okay? That is 100% the coach's job. Procedure, if you have a concern to discuss with the coach, again, address concerns immediately, not immediately after a game or immediately before a game or after practice, okay? But the student should discuss the concern with the coach first. The next day after something happens, maybe wait 24 hours. Ever heard that 24-hour rule? Okay. If the problem still exists, you can call or email me. We can schedule a meeting together. I will not meet with you one-on-one. We will include the coach, okay? Please do not attempt to confront a coach, like I said before, after a contest. These can be emotional times for both parties, parent and coach, and does not promote a resolution. So levels of play at any level. So we support the varsity, JV, and JV2 levels in most of our sports. There are some sports that, whether it's the number of student athletes we have, or there's just some sports that don't have 3 levels. But for the most part, we have 3 levels, or would have 3 levels if we had a number of students. Cutting of students is not a desire, and the one thing that all coaches do not like about their job. However, if the number of students trying out for a team creates a situation that is difficult to manage and possess a safe problem, or is problematic because of facility considerations, reducing a team size may be necessary. Okay, and even sometimes in the conference, 3 levels might not be supported by the conference, which makes it really hard for us to schedule contests. So, schedule a meeting with me if you're a new student to the school district, not new to the high school, new to the school district. Meaning, if you're a transfer student, you just moved into Monroe. If you are homeschooled, if you're a foreign exchange student, you need to come see me right away. We have to go through some paperwork and get some eligibility stuff done through the WIA. If you had an F last year, 3rd try, we talked about that at the beginning. Come see me right away if we haven't already talked. And then if you have any other questions, I know I just kind of threw a lot of information at you. And if you're new to the high school, you might have some questions, and that's fine. Give me a call, send me an email. Now we'll move on to injuries. So the school district does not provide any type of health or accident insurance for injuries, but proof of insurance is needed to compete in our athletics. Okay. We do partner with the Monroe Clinic, SSM Health, for athletic trainer services. If all of you remember Colton from last year, Colton has moved on. He's no longer here. They are in the process of hiring an athletic trainer. So right now we are TBD, but we will have somebody. Okay, and those hours will become available once we know who is helping us out. So, like I said, we will have somebody here, and they're here for your help. Okay, if something's bothering you physically, injury, come find them, talk to your coach. Coach can find them, come find me, we can find them. We can set up a time and get it taken care of. With that being said, we also use the Healthy Roster program. Healthy Roster program gives you a direct line of communication with the athletic trainer. It is also obviously on our website under athletics. Down here, athletic trainer, Healthy Roster, okay? So you just sign up for it, you register your kid, and now it gives you a direct link straight to the athletic trainer. And honestly, it will save you a lot of time if you use this rather than, if you have an injury or whatever and trying to get in to see your pediatrician and things like that. Please use this, go through this program. This will save you a lot of time. Booster Club. Kim Markham's going to talk quickly.
Right, hello. All right. As Jeff said, my name is Kim Markham. I am a graduate of this wonderful high school way back in 88, as was my husband, Ron, and we are the parents of 2 children. Madison graduated in 2021, and Tucker is a senior this year. And I'm here to talk to you about what a wonderful thing the Monroe Athletic Booster Club is for all of our sports teams. All of the sports teams, not just football, basketball, everything. Ron and I joined the Booster Club when Madison was a freshman. And, go back. Well, as you can see what it says on the bottom of this slide, the Monroe Boosters have been supporting Cheesemaker sports for over 40 years. So I want everybody who's in the crowd who graduated from Monroe High School or played a sport here, talking parents, to raise your hand. That's a lot of hands. So the Booster Club supported you when you were in school, and now it's supporting your children. So that's a really cool thing, right? Okay, moving on. Now you can switch it. Okay. As I mentioned, the Booster Club proudly supports all MHS athletic programs, student athletes, and student managers. On the screen here, we have a list of some of the more recent equipment and technology purchases that we've done, or that we've helped to purchase, or we've purchased outright for sports. And we do that because a lot of the needs of our sports teams exceed the athletic budget that's available from the school district. So that's really where the Booster Club and all of you come in. We're able to do this through money generated through concession stand sales, an annual fundraising event, which we're switching up this year, so stay tuned for that. Some other fun things like flamingo flocking and other just different things that we do throughout the year. It's not a ton of events. It's not a ton of time. We're not asking you to come to a bunch of meetings, but just be available for when we do need some extra hands there. We also have a really good scholarship program for graduating senior athletes and managers who are continuing on with a higher education. So these, I wish I had more pictures to show you, but these are just a few things that the Booster Club has helped purchase for some different sports teams over the last few years. And if you see that list that we had on the previous screen, we've done a lot more than that. And we also have some forms out in the hall. There's a few Booster Club members here tonight that has that list on the back of it as well. So I would encourage all of you to grab one of those forms and at least take a look at it. But we have, I think, supported probably every team over the last few years, right, Jeff? So we work really closely with Mr. Newcomer here on that, and he helps facilitate what the teams need and how the Booster Club can help. This is just a little bit about the scholarship program, and if any of you have older children that have graduated, you've probably seen the number of scholarships that are given out. Monroe is a very generous district when it comes to scholarships. We have a very generous community, and the Booster Club is a part of that with the scholarships that they give out. There are a few requirements, but they're not real hard to meet. And we are very proud that we are able to raise enough money to give out these scholarships to our graduating seniors. The club there is a GPA requirement, and then there are some sports participation requirements. During COVID, we decided to temporarily amend some of the sports participation requirements because, as a lot of you can probably remember, there was just some years where some seasons weren't available, and if your child is maybe a baseball player or something, there was one year they didn't have baseball. So we did amend the requirements for the two classes that have most recently graduated, as well as the classes of 2023, so this year's seniors, and 2024, this year's juniors. Beginning with the class of 2025, the participation requirements will go back to you have to be in at least 2 sports every year of high school to be eligible for the scholarship. All right. Who can be a Booster Club member? All of you can. That's the beauty of it. We take anybody. Parents, guardians, grandparents, alumni, Cheesemaker alumni, community members, businesses and clubs. To be a thriving Booster Club and to do all the things that we have done and we plan to do in the future, we need to have a really broad membership base of Booster Club members. And that's really important that we get people that cover all of the different sports. My kid's in 3 sports, but we offer a lot more than that here at Monroe High School. So to get input and to keep a relationship with all the different sports, we really need a broad membership base. And anyone can be a member, and I think I mentioned earlier, you do not have to attend a bunch of meetings. So I want to make that very clear. You can if you want to, they're kind of fun, but you don't have to. We do some fun things to support our teams. We manage and run the concession stands for all the football games, the boys and girls soccer, track, and baseball games, and this is by far our biggest revenue generator between the fall and the spring. The winter sport concession stands are generally run by some clubs that want to make some money, like activity clubs here at the high school. What we do takes some time. It takes a little bit of everybody's time, but as the old saying goes, if you have many hands, it makes light work. So you can all help us out, make our Booster Club one of the best with only a few hours a year. Literally, if you worked one concession stand in the fall and one in the spring, it would be a tremendous help. You don't have to attend a bunch of meetings. We're not going to bug you every single week, not even every single month. But if everybody kind of pitched in just a few hours during the school year, it would be awesome. The annual fundraiser is always a lot of fun. As I said, we are changing that up this year, so stay tuned on that. We're going to do something that's hopefully sure to cure your cabin fever in late winter, early spring. Another very important thing that the Booster Club members do is we serve as liaisons for all the different sports teams. So I am currently the varsity football liaison, and I'm also the secretary of the Booster Club. When Madison was in school, I was the dance team liaison. It's not a lot of work. You're just bridging that communication between your child's coach and team and the Booster Club. And as I said, we work very closely with Mr. Newcomer, and we're kind of liaisons with him too. So we all are on the same page, and we all know what needs to be done and how we can help. It's really fun. You make some great connections. And it really goes an awful long way to show your Cheesemaker pride. And I will be looking for someone to take my spot as the football liaison, because Tucker will be graduating. So you freshman, sophomore parents, even if you're a junior parent out there, happy to show you the ropes this year, and you can help to carry on these good traditions. Yeah, we'll just go back to this quickly. So we have been handing out some forms out there tonight. We're also available to talk about it. We are starting something new this year. It's a corporate and club membership program. So if you're a business person or you'd like to get your business involved, we do have some fun perks for that, including we're going to start like a Booster Business of the Week. And if you would just want to be like a family, a friend, neighbor, grandparent, alumni member, it does say on the form $20 membership for that. We're not really worried about the money, to be honest with you. We just really want broad base for our Booster Club. And like I said, just a couple hours a year for your help. So if you want to pay the $20, it'd be a great donation, but you certainly don't have to. So don't let that stop you. Just please reach out to any one of us. You can reach out to Jeff. He can get you in touch with somebody. We can email the form out. Like I said, it's a lot of fun, especially when we get to homecoming and senior night and those kind of things. Team dinners, things like that. Once you get up to usually to the varsity level, it's great fun, and we just need people to be there and help support it and support our teams. I am always available if there's any questions. You can track me down. Happy to help. And go Cheesemakers.
Yeah, I can't say enough about what the Booster Club does for our athletics teams, all right? They do so much. We just wouldn't be able to give our kids the opportunities and the experiences that they have without them. So please, please, please consider joining them, helping them, volunteering, okay? Just a few hours a season really is all they need, okay? And it goes a long way. All right, so quick reminder, okay? Sign the code of conduct and the consent forms, and all that can be done online, okay? The physical and alternate year card also can be done online. You just have to take a picture of it, upload it, attach it to your online account, and you're good to go. Concussion agreement, guess what? It's online as well, okay? Activity fee, that cannot be paid online. Sorry about that. That can be dropped off at the office, and that can be after the season starts if it needs to be, okay? But everything except for the activity fee must be completed before your child can practice. So we're going to break out now into each individual team. As you can see, the different locations. So football, they probably have the most people, so they will stay here in the pack. Volleyball will go down the hall and then up the stairs to the balcony, wrestling balcony. Cross country will be in the lobby outside the auxiliary gym, so down the long hall.